we are not too many, so no problem. So that is it. So we start. So this is tutorial review 001, and I hope we are enjoying the course. Today we are looking at the first 42 slides that we covered on Monday. And in those slides, we made a lot of expressions, ordinary English expressions you are familiar with. In addition to those expressions, you will recall there are certain mathematical expressions that we came across. Let us just take a look at some of them right now. You remember that if we have a set S and there is an element A, we want to check whether element A is among the elements in S. We can say if we say A belongs to S, we are saying that A is in S. We could also be asking whether A is in S. Okay, so if we are asking it as a question, A in S would be true or false. Okay, if there are several elements, we can check whether A, B, C, and D are in S, or we can be saying A, B, C, and D are in S. Depends on the context. We also have mathematical expressions for non-membership. We can be saying that A does not belong to S, or we can check is A not in S, or A, B, C, D not in S. These are things you see in your math books or your math classes in your schools. We also have mathematical expressions for containment. We can talk about set S, which is a subset or equal to T, or set S, which is strictly a subset of T. This is how we write it mathematically. We can also express intersection, union, and also this particular expression now is saying talking about the intersection of A and B, which is a set that contains elements that are common to both of them. And if A and B are disjoint, that means that the intersection of them contains no element. And this is a mathematical expression that is expressing the case of disjoint sets. So that in this case now, if A and B don't have an intersection, or if the intersection is an empty set, we say the sets are disjoint. This is a way to express that idea mathematically. All these are mathematical expressions. So we can see here, we can be talking about ordinary English expressions, and we can also be talking about mathematical expressions. But let us remember, we said it last week, that when you have a mathematical expression, it is exactly the same as your English expression, but it is written with parsimony. It's written with brevity. It's written with symbols to make it faster, to make it easier, to make it brisk. And instead of writing a lot of stuff, you just write this symbol, and this is the symbol for membership. That is just what we do. So don't get excited or don't be afraid of this. It doesn't have any other meaning than that it is helping us to be more brief in the way we are making our ordinary English expression. So when you have a mathematical expression, it is not different from your ordinary English expression, except in the way it is expressed. It is expressed in a terse, brief, and parsimonious way. That's all. Apart from that, you are still talking about the same thing. So mathematics is like that. Mathematics helps you to be brief, to be accurate, to be exact, to be consistent. That's just how mathematics is. Now, in reviewing this week, we also need to look at other kinds of expressions. There are expressions that are neither English expressions nor mathematical expressions. They are expressions in the programming language of Python. And we have seen several examples of this in the last class. And it is important for us to remind ourselves what these are, and so that we can recognize what they are, what they mean, and how to use them. These expressions only occur when you are writing your code, when you are writing your program, when you are writing Python script. And you need to know how they are. Usually in our slides, when you see something on a black background like this, it is likely that we just cut that expression out of our Python script to show you. So the expressions you see there are not necessarily mathematical expressions, nor are they necessarily English expressions, but they are related to them. So it is important for you to note when you are dealing with a Python expression, So that because Python expressions have to be written specifically correctly. If you try to write a Python expression like a mathematical expression, you are going to make mistakes. So just know the rules. You need to know the rules just the way you have your syntactic rules when you are writing language. You also have rules of syntax when you are writing mathematics. So do you have rules of syntax when you are writing Python? So the problem here is that you are moving between three languages. One is English, second is mathematics, third is Python. Once you are aware of what you are doing, once you know what you are doing, there will be no problem. But if you do not understand that, then there could be a problem. So just make sure you know whether when you are working with mathematics, when you are working with English, and when you are working with Python. Always be very clear, because what you do may change as you are moving from one to the other. So these are some examples of Python expressions. For instance, this one here says Ade equals curly brace closed with some constants, some alphabetic constants. This box size is an alphabetic constant, that's why it's in quotes. Headphones is another alphabetic constant, and so on. We call these strings. They are quoted strings. So these are constants. So you can see here, my toilet is assigned to water closet, and so on and so forth. These are all Python expressions, and you will do more of those shortly. Now, we also need to understand when we are doing Python, one of the most fundamental things you need to understand is that what you see, what looks like an equal sign is not an equal sign. Let me repeat myself. What looks like an equal sign is not an equal sign. So we have to distinguish between equality and assignment. For instance, I put it to you, like lawyers would say, that all the things that look like equality signs, yeah, this, and this, they are not equality signs at all. We are not, for example, saying that Ade is equal to boxers, headphones, slippers, shorts, and so on. No. What we are saying is that if we are writing a program on what people are wearing, because we know that Ade is wearing boxers, headphones, slippers, shorts, singlets, wristwatch, we are assigning a set containing those things to Ade. So you now know what Ade is wearing. So instead of seeing this equal sign you are seeing here as an equality, what you should see it as is an assignment. We are assigning this set to Ade. So if you look at yourself, you can assign a set that contains what you are wearing to yourself. You can put your name. So whether you assign something to Ade or you assign something to yourself, the proper symbol in Python is the equality sign that of mathematics. But it does not carry the same meaning. It does not carry exactly the same meaning as it carries there. So this is an assignment. In fact, in Python, we call this an assignment expression or an assignment statement, where we compile the set of boxer, headphones, slippers, shorts, singlets, wristwatch, t-shirt, and close it with another curly brace, which shows that this is a set, and we are assigning that set to Ade. I don't need to say more here. You can see we are assigning pounded yam, barley, rice, and so on. We are assigning that set to food. We are assigning my toilet. We are assigning the set water closet, hand sanitizer, waste bin, and so on to my toilet. And so we are assigning pawpaw, tomatoes, lemons, bitter leaf, plantains. We are assigning that set to my garden. You can assign another set to another person's garden, or so on and so on and so forth. We are assigning to Nigerian football or night foot. We are assigning best to Gedegbe, Rashidi Yekini, Alex Iwobi, Kwanu Nwako, JJ Okocha. We are assigning all of that to Nigerian football. Now, this we are assigning 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on to positive integer. Here, we didn't complete it. So this is not a complete Python, whereas this, and this are completed Python statements. Those expressions are completed. These two expressions are incomplete. So do not write this and put ... It doesn't, Python will not, the compiler will complain. So we are only using this to teach. This is not a complete expression where we really want to write this in the language, we have to put the expression complete. So there will be no availability of ... there. Just mark that. So what we are saying here is that equality and assignment can be confusing to somebody who's just getting into programming. But just know that when you see the equality sign of mathematics, when you see that in your Python program, it does not mean equality, it means assignment. So it's an assignment statement. So understand this. Understand this, your level has changed. The day you understand the difference between assignment and equality, mark that date, because that is your rite of passage. There are special math symbols. They are not, those special math symbols are not available to you when you are programming in Python. So Python has its own tokens, programming tokens that replace them. We will see that as we move on in this tutorial. There are programming tokens or keywords. And then apart from them, you are going to come across identifier variables and constants. You have already seen the alphabetic constants. Here, you have 0, 1, 2, 3. These are numerical constants. A, B, C in quotes. These are still string alphabetic constants of single letters. All these things here are alphabetic constants, and this one is numerical constant. Now, one thing you will notice is that the way we treat numerical constants is different from the way we treat alphabetic constants. When we write numerical constants, we just write them straight away, 0, 1, 2, 3. We don't put them in quotation marks, we just write them. And they are known to be alphabetic constants. But when it comes to numeric constants, we have to put them in quotes, either single quotes or double quotes. Both are accepted. It's just that if you cannot open with a single quote and close with double quote. Neither can you open with a double quote and close with single quote. Whatever quote you open with is what you close with. So you do not open with one and close with the other. But apart from that, you are free in your constant. Why? The question is why we have put alphabetic constants in quotes. The reason is ambiguity resolution. Because if you write, this is wrong spelling, alphabetic is what I want. If you do not put it in quotes, Python can ascribe another meaning to it. There are several other things. When you have an alphabetic sequence of characters, there are several ways that Python can interpret it. One of those ways is to interpret it as alphabetic constants. But that's not the only way. So, because it may interpret it as something else, if what you want is to give it an alphabetic constant, you are talking of this boxer as boxer and nothing but boxer. You don't want it to be given any other interpretation, put it in quotes. You will see the other interpretations shortly. As we are explaining some of the code fragments that you are working with, you will see what other meanings could have been given. So that if these boxers had not been in quotes, what else could it mean? You will see two other things it could mean shortly. But just know that if the constant you are interested in is a string or alphabetic thing, you must put it in quotes. If you don't put it in quotes, you are in danger of having it being interpreted in another way, and Python is going to flag you with an error if you don't put it in quotes. So the way numeric constants are treated is different from the way strings or alphabetic constants are treated. So the alphabetic constants have to be in quotes. Even an integer could also still be placed as an alphabetic constant. So if you put 1 and you put it in quotes, it's no longer recognized as number 1. It's recognized as a string 1. And you have to be careful when you do that, because when you are using it, you have to know whether this 1 is representing a 1 number or a 1 string. You will see when we will see that sometimes we might want to do one or the other. But just notice that, but if it is a string, you must put it in quotes, because if you do not put it in quotes, there will be a problem. There can be a problem. So I've said here, assignment and equality is different from programming and the math. So when you are in math, your equal sign means something. When you are in a programming language, your equal sign means assignment. So now, suppose you now want to use equal sign in your program. If you want to use equal sign in your program, the way around it is that you use a double equal sign. It is a double equal sign in a program that is equivalent to the single equal sign in mathematics. When you put a single equal sign in a program, it is taken to be an assignment. It's not an equal sign at all. So we've talked about special math symbols, special programming tokens, keywords. Now we will talk later on about identifiers, variables, and constants. We won't talk about that right here. So now the last issue I want to look at before I go to discuss your homework is how mathematics deals with collections. How Python deals with collections. In mathematics, the only collections we are really interested in our mathematics is sets. That's why we are talking of set theory. But when we are talking of programming, when we are writing code, when we are writing scripts, we can deal with a large number of collections. In fact, I can easily tell us about 20 types, but we don't need to go into making it so hard. So just remember that Python understands sets. The sets of mathematics are already known to Python. So sets in Python are roughly equivalent to the sets you have in your mathematics as a special kind of collection. One thing about that set is that it does not allow repetitions. So if there is any repetition, it will ignore it. So let us say your set contains boxers, and shorts. That set contains only two things: boxers and shorts. The first time anytime something is repeated, it ignores it, because every member of a set, by definition, is unique. So you do not have two things that are the same that are inside a set. So, but sometimes you want to have things that are repeated. When you need that, the proper collection to use in your program is not set. The proper collection to use might be list. List is like a set, but it allows duplicates. So if you want things to be repeated, then you don't use sets, you use lists. And the good thing is that Python, you will see in your program, you will easily be able to convert a list to a set or a set to a list on the fly. It's very easy to do the conversion. So even if you want to create a set, you can start it as a list first, and eventually you can turn it to a set. So when you are making it as a list, you will be allowed to repeat. When it has become a set, all the repetitions would have vanished. The dict is a different thing. The tuple is still different. We will get to those ones as we go on. There are other complicated collections like decks, queues, linked lists, and trees, and so many other ways of expressing things. Those, I'm only mentioning those ones here. They are already beyond the scope of this course. But just in case some of you are adventurous enough, you go to the internet, you'll know that our collections do not end with tuples, lists, and dicts, and sets. There are several other ones. These are introduced to make life easy, as you will see. Okay, I haven't looked at those. We are now in a position to go and look at, I just take a look at the homework assignment that we just gave. The first assignment is for you to copy, run, and modify. You see a code like this, you copy, run, and modify. For instance, you already know that there is something here called night food. You can see that here, I didn't put this one in quotes. When I have an alphabetic character that is not in quotes, one of the first interpretations is that it is an identifier. Here, the night food is not a constant, it's an identifier, or you can take it as a placeholder. What it means here is that I can take this whole set and assign it to it. Once I assign it, anytime I mention night food, it means this set. So Python already has assigned, by this statement, Python has assigned this whole set to night food. So anytime, instead of repeating this whole set, once I say night food, it means this. So in that case, this night food, these alphabetic characters, is now playing a completely different role. When it is not in quotes, it's playing the role of an identifier. So that is what is happening here. So this is an identifier, and what this statement that starts at line 1 and ends at line 11 is saying is that create this set and assign it to night food. Let me also explain some of the issues that are, because in programming, you are not allowed to say this set is equal. You cannot change this Knightfoot. The identifier must always be on the left. The identifier must always be on the left. The expression you are assigning to it is what is on the right. So in Python, it would be wrong to say best of the Ogedegbe, Rashidi Yekini, all the way to Egbami, curly brace open, curly brace closed is equal to Knightfoot. That's an error. You can, the identifier, when it occurs, and when it is going to take an assignment, it must always be on the left. So it is not, you don't have that choice. Similarly, look at what is happening on line 12. Whereas on line 1, we are carrying a whole set and we are assigning it to Knightfoot. Here on line 12, we are only assigning a single constant, Adams Oshiomhole, quotes, which is in the beginning quote and ends with that quote, and we are assigning it to another identifier called A. You can see that here, even though A is alphabetic, it's not in quotes, so it is an identifier here, so we can assign it. So for between lines 1 to 12, we have 2 identifiers. The first one is assigned a set. The second one is assigned a name, a single name. Now, that now gives meaning to line 13. In line 13, what's happening in line 13? In line 13, look at, first of all, to understand line 13, you first of all have to break, when you see an assignment, you have to break into 2 sides. You look at the left side of the assignment and the right side of the assignment. On the left side of the assignment, you have an identifier. That is what you must always have on the left side of an assignment. On the right side of the assignment, you have an expression. This expression is a question. And the question is A, whatever A is representing, right now A is representing Adams Oshiomhole. But whatever A is representing, you want to check, is it in the set that Knightfoot is representing? So this is an operation. This in is roughly equivalent to the mathematical in sign, which you remember is the epsilon. That epsilon from that epsilon you have been looking at, that we saw here. This epsilon here. So here now, if we are writing this in Python, we'll say A in S. A in S. Here we will say this. Here we say not A in S. So this is A in S, and this is not A in S. So when we are trying to write this mathematical statement in Python, there is a different strategy we use to write it. And you will see we have now come to a second interpretation of unquoted strings. You can see that this in here is in a different color. It is also alphabetic. It is alphabetic, but it's not quoted. When it's not quoted, in this particular case, you already know that A is an identifier, Knightfoot is an identifier, answer here is an identifier, but in here is not an identifier. This is the third meaning that something that is not quoted can have. This is called a keyword. Here now, what this is now is a keyword. A keyword is a special character. Keywords in Python are roughly equivalent to your special symbols in mathematics. For instance, this now is represented by the keyword in. This one is represented by the keyword. I think this will be represented by the keyword subset, but we will see that later on. But so this in here is neither a constant nor an identifier, but it is a keyword, and that is why you are seeing it in a different color. You can even see that print here again is neither an identifier nor a constant. Here in line 14, it is going to cause whatever value the answer has to be printed. It is not answer itself that will be printed, it's whatever value. Here now, in this particular case, if you have tried this program, you will see that Adams Oshiomhole is not part of this set. So A in Knightfoot will return false. So answer at line 13 is going to have the value of false. So when you say print answer, you will see that false is what will be printed as a result of this code. If you get that, that means that you have been successful. This is the thing. You can try, for instance, now and say A is equal to JJ Okocha. And you do the same thing again, and you will see that print answer is going to print true. Because in that case, A is in Knightfoot. We wanted you to practice this. If you have not yet, if you have practiced it, That's congratulations, you are already moving. If you have not yet practiced it, better begin to do so, because don't just listen to us. Don't just listen to what we are saying. Do something. Programming is doing something. And it is only those who do something that will actually be programming. Those who are busy listening, we will never program. You can go and get bachelor's degree, master's degree, PhD by continue listening and giving back to teacher what you will not program. But if you don't even know, if you don't even need to be that smart, and you start playing with it, you will discover that that will simply be part of you. So if you have not yet tried this, please make sure you do that and submit your results tomorrow. And then you remember the instructions are to copy. That is, you copy this correctly, and you make sure you are doing that in your Visual Studio Code. You copy the code into your Visual Studio Code VCS, Integrated Development Environment. You run the program using the debugger, and then you use a larger or different set and check for membership using. So all that this code is doing is to check for membership, and we return true or false if the membership check is true. And if the membership check is false, it will return false. Do this until the script is clear to you by following the pattern and results. So we hope that by this extra explanation, what we couldn't tell you in class on Monday should be a little bit clearer. It doesn't have to be 100% clear yet, but you have enough information to practice this. Just go and do what you can do. You will see that as we say more things, you will be getting more and more confident in what we are talking about, and you'll be learning to program. So that is the kind of thing we are expecting you to do in your first assignment. Copy, run, and modify. It's very simple. Don't say because it's simple you won't do it. Start with the simple things, practice the simple things. You will discover that every level, if you are always on time, if you're always finishing everything that is supposed to be finished in the week, you will discover that each week is easy for you. Even if it is not easy, it's not very difficult for you, and you will be able to make progress. But if you forget and you neglect to practice everything we told you to practice, after they have piled up, they become exceedingly difficult. So if you are having difficulty, check whether you have been practicing. If you have been practicing, you are not likely to have difficulty. Remember, how do we create a set in Python? By starting with a curly brace and closing with a curly brace and put the elements that we are supposed to put. If the elements are strings, they must be quoted. If the elements are numbers, they do not need to be quoted. And they can be separated by commas, and you will see that Python will pack them and give them to the identifier that you assign that to. And from that point on, you can be using the identifier to refer to that set. The next thing is on slide 11. If you go to slide 11, you just look at yourself and see what you are wearing. Just the way we were able to say here, we're able to say Ade is equal to, you assign boxers, headphones, and all those sorts. So you do the same thing. Put your name here without any quotes, or put somebody, say, you can even say me or myself, whatever, but no quotes, because it's an identifier. And then assign it to, instead of boxers now, you may not be wearing boxers. So whatever you are wearing, just put this list on. So that is what we are told to do in that second thing. So before looking at slide 11, create 5 or more things you are presently, a set of 5 or more things you are presently wearing. Make a list of it. Then create logic in such that your script takes each of the items in your set, checks if it is also in Ade's set. It's trying to see what you have in common with Ade. So if it takes the first thing you are wearing, which I don't know, you know what you are wearing, and then it takes it goes to look at Ade's set, which is presently called Ade. So if it looks at Ade's set, and then if that thing is a member of Ade's set, it will say true. That is, that thing you have taken is in Ade's set. If it is not, it will say false, and it will put that in a list. So if you continue doing that, you will just turn the list you have created into a set. If you turn the list you have created into a set, you see that all that will happen is that if there are duplicates, those duplicates will vanish. Try to understand the results you will have and ask questions in the tutorial class. We will get to that now. A typical answer to this question is given next. So this is an example that I did. This is not the only way to achieve this. Can you follow the pattern? If you can, attempt. So this is example. But what I'm going to do now is that I'm not going to just leave it on this dead something. I'm going to go into my own Python script, and I will run the code for you the way you are supposed to have run it at home. So that those who have run it, they will remember they've done it already, which is good. Those who have not yet done it, we now see how to do it. So I'm going to go and just show you my own Python code. Here is my Python code. Please, admin, can you confirm that my Python code is visible to the class?
Yes, it is, Prof.
Admin.
It's visible, Prof. We can see it.
I can see your screen now.
Dr. Adewumi, can you confirm?
Yes, it's showing.
Yes, I can see it.
I am not hearing. It could be that. Sorry, apparently my. Please talk again. I didn't hear you because my.
I can see it, Prof. I can see it.
Okay, so good. So this is Ade. You can see Ade is equal to boxers, headphones, slippers, shorts, singlet, wristband, and so on. In my own case, I have a face cap, boxers, face mask. I don't have the face mask on right now, but when I wrote it, and I had a singlet, earbuds, and smartwatch. So this is Ade's list. This is my own list. Sorry, this is Ade's set. This is my own set. So the first thing we do is to create an empty list. To create an empty list is and name it. I create an empty list. I name it using a string that is not put in quotes. You see, when you have a string that's not put in quotes, it's either called a variable or an identifier. The correct word is an identifier. So this is empty. So when we create this logic, the logic here is that we go to me right now is this set. It takes the item there one by one for item in me. So it picks one. Because it is a set, you cannot predict beforehand whether it will pick face cap first because the things in the set are not ordered. The fact that you order them in writing it in the set doesn't mean that the Python will obey that you're ordering. The only thing is that if you write code like this, it's going to pick them one by one until it picks everything. But you cannot guarantee which order. So what happens here is that item in Ade, so that item you pick an item in me, and it calls it item. So let us say it picks singlet. It now checks whether singlet is in Ade. If singlet is in Ade, it will append true to bool list. If singlet is not in Ade, it will append false to bool list. It now picks another one, maybe earbuds. It checks, is earbuds in Ade? If it is in Ade, it will append true. If it is not, it will append false. And you will see it happening. So let us run this program. To run the program, the first thing you do, you create breakpoints. To create a breakpoint, you right click if you right click your mouse, it can give you add breakpoint also. So you can say yes. If you do that, you see this red dot. That's a breakpoint there. And I also like to put pass, which is a dummy statement at the end, and I put a breakpoint there. So you have a breakpoint here and you have a breakpoint there, because those breakpoints are very good because you can do your analysis at that. You can tell the program to start to run until the next breakpoint, so it will go. So let us now try and run this code. So this is what you can get. You can type this in. If you have not yet typed anything in, you are already getting late because you need to have been typing stuff into your Visual Studio Code. You can now go to the run. In the run, you are going to choose you are going to either press F5 on your keyboard or click Start Debugging. If you click Start Debugging, there will be a list of things you could do. What we are interested in is the first, which is debug the currently active Python code. If you say that, if you accept that, and you do that correctly, the first thing that is going to happen is that you will see that control has been passed to the first breakpoint. So this is how you know control has been passed. That whole line is highlighted. It's highlighted specially, and there's an arrow there. So we are now at this point. Now, when we are at this point, we can allow the code to be stepped over. That is the first thing we want to do. We want to go line by line and see what is happening. And on this side, we will be seeing, we will be getting some information. If we have enough information, if we're happy with the information we are getting, fine. If we want to see more, then we can go to the watch and set what we want to see. In this particular case, let me just turn this one off and remove all expressions. For instance, in this place now, I want to be able to see bool list and bool set. So all I do, I can add to the watch list. I can put the identifier bool list. I put it there, that's bool list. It says name error, bool list is not defined. Don't worry about that right now. I can still add another one. I say bool set. Bool. So I put two things. It says they are not defined. Don't worry. So let us now run this program in a debug mode, line by line. You can do that by stepping over, either using F10 or use your mouse button to be something like an arc arrow over on a dot. You just click it once, so it goes to the next line until, okay, so it says it. So that means that it has now understood that Ade is assigned. So you can see now, if you look at the variables here, it says Ade, it has already assigned Ade, boxer, singlet, headphones, and so on. So if you can even look at it here. So it says Ade is a special variable, and then it's even telling you, it is even giving you more information. It's telling you the address of the particular place in memory where it has put everything. So it is, so you can see that everything that we told you to assign to Ade has been assigned to Ade, and you can see that if you expand Ade, you will see that boxer, singlet, headphones, wristwatch, slippers, shorts, and t-shirt have already been assigned to Ade. So if we go on, let us. So from now on, all those, that whole set is Ade. So if you go on here, now it has done the same thing for me. It has assigned boxer, singlet, face cap, earbuds. So it has obeyed the instructions we gave here, and it has assigned those things. It is interesting to see. One thing you can look at, you will see that boxers is assigned to Ade, and boxer is also assigned to me. One thing you can see is that the computer is very, 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 very efficient. It is not, even though there is a boxer here and there is another boxer here, the computer is very efficient. If you look at the address here, you will see that it didn't use two different boxers. It is the same. The boxer that is here is the same as the boxers here because they are the same. And you can check that by looking at the memory addresses there. That is an advanced topic, but it is an interesting thing to know. It's very efficient. But let us go on. So, bool list, so far, it's still not known. But if you click this one now, it is telling you that bool list is an empty list, because the way you know an empty list is that you have the square bracket open, square bracket close, and there is nothing inside. And you can see now in the watch list, it's still telling you the same thing. So if you now go into the for statement, the first thing it does, it takes item. Interestingly, it takes boxers. Okay, it takes, because it's going to go through all the, you see, it's going to go through all the items in me. It's going to take, it decided to take, even though boxer is not the first thing in the list, that's the one is speaking first. The important thing is that it's going to take everything. It takes boxers. And now, the next thing is that since item now is having, you see, like if you want to look at what is the value of item right now, the value of item is boxers. It's now checking, is item in Ade, is this boxers which I picked for me, is it also in Ade? If it is in Ade, then what is being appended there will be true. So let us go run that statement. You can see that what has been appended to bool list is true, because it took an item in me, which is boxers. It checks whether that item is in Ade, and it finds it is in Ade, and it has returned the value of true, and it has used it to append that bool list. So that bool list now has, you can see now, this bool list now has item boxers inside it, and also item true inside it. So let us go on. If we go to the next one, the next thing is that it took singlet, and it found singlet also in Ade, so it's true. The next thing it takes face cap. It takes face cap. It sees face cap here. It now goes to Ade. It checks whether face cap is there. Well, let's see what it will find. It finds that there's no face cap there, so it appends false. Item in Ade, face cap in Ade is false. Face cap is not in Ade, so it is putting false here. Let us see what it picks next. What does it pick next? It picks earbuds next. Okay, it picks earbuds because earbuds is in me. He checks, are there airballs in that day? No. So it is going to return false. So you can see now it has returned false. Face mask. It picks face mask in me. It checks in that day, it sees false. It returns false. What does it pick next? The next thing it picks is smartwatch. It returns false. So it has looked at everything that is in me. Has it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it has picked 6 things. So it has exhausted that thing. So it has finished the work of this for loop. So it can now move. So it moves to the next. It moves to the next statement. The next statement is print bool list. Now, bool list here contains true, true, false, 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 false. Now it prints everything. So if you say, if you execute that line, you can see in the output terminal below, true, true, false, 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 false. But you didn't need that because it's already even without this print statement, you already know what is in there. So there is nothing new, no new information here. So you don't even have to execute this print statement. Now the next thing is interesting. The next thing is that it is trying to convert this bool list into a bool set. It's trying to make a set out of the bool list. This is how you do it. If it makes a set out of the bool list, remember, sets are not tolerant of repeats. Here, you have true, true, false, 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 false. As far as if you treat this as a set, there are only 2 things that are contained here, which is true and false. You will see that by the time you convert bool list to bool set, it is no longer, the number of items in it is no longer going to be, the number of items in bool list will remain 6, but number of items in bool set will be 2. So let us try and see. So you can see that, you can see bool set here. Bool set here contains only 2 things. One is false, the other is true, even though it is a conversion of this bool list. So when you convert a list to a set, what will happen is that all the repeats are gone, and it's only things that are not repeated that remain. And that is the end of this code here. So that is what you should have done. And if you have not yet done it, I don't, despite the fact that we have walked through it in class, in this tutorial, still go do it. And you'll see that if I do the run again, if I do it, I can do it like this. But I don't have to run step by step. I can use continue, F5. In F5, I will say what it means is that run to the next breakpoint. So it will run everything to the breakpoint. Let us try that. If you just do it like that, you will see that what the next thing you see is that it has reached this point. It has taken all of this, and the results are all there. So what I have, what you have in the notes, all I simply did is that I just did a simple thing. I just cut this thing and I pasted it on the slide. That's all. That's all I have done. So I just cut this and pasted it on the slide. So it's that simple. So just know that you too could do this yourself if you want to. And also you understand what I am doing. I'm just showing you my run. I'm just showing you my run screen, my run window, and so that you can see. And if there is anything that I want that is not in the run window, I can go and check it in the, I can go and ask for it in the watch list. By the time, these are the things that you need to do to be debugging your code. So I go back to the, I'm now going back to the slideshow. Let's see, where is that now? PowerPoint. Okay, so we have done this now. So like I said before, because the fact that we have done this doesn't mean you should not do it. You still do it, still practice it. And when you understand it, you can do your own. This is in me. Your own you may have more stuff on you than I have. You may have different kinds of stuff. Maybe you are not wearing, maybe you are not keeping social distance and you are playing with coronavirus. I advise you not to. Coronavirus is very serious. But I hope when you go out, you wear your face mask, but you will not be wearing a singlet, you will be wearing other things. So you check how much, in this particular case, this is actually checking how are they and me, how we intersect. That's all. How many things do we have in common? And it says there are 2 things in common. Other things we do not have, we do not share in common. And those two things we have in common are boxers and singlet. Every other thing is different. Now, what we have just done, you can do it. We are now asking. We now stop giving you direct code. You are now to write your own code using the pattern you have already seen. So you think of food items on your menu list in the past 2 weeks. Create a set of the items of food in your personal menu. Food items you have consumed. On slide 12, there's a set of menu items. You go to slide 12 in the teaching slide. And then you use that to create a true and false list to denote items on your list that are on or absent from the food set. Just the way we have just done. Can you do this in keeping with the order of your set items? So those are the questions there. Then this question is straightforward. So I don't want to repeat myself here. Toilet items, kitchen items, living room, transportation, footwears, and rainbow colors. So this is the complete issue on what we asked you to do. And I want to know, are there questions, anything in the chat room? We have spent close to 50 minutes now. Like I said before, if you are happy and you don't have any questions, after 10 minutes, we will close shop. But if you have questions you need things to help you with your homework, we are open to answer your questions. You can ask us any questions short of telling us to help you do your homework. We will not agree to help you do your homework. But you can ask any questions that you might need to help you with your homework here. We will do that. But please note, don't get excited about getting grades. The whole idea of this homework is to help you understand what's going on. So we are more interested in your getting a deeper understanding than just getting grades. So just please pay attention to understand. If there's anything you don't understand, you can post questions or you can ask us questions. Dr. Adewumi, I want to hand over to you. I've finished.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. So we are just waiting for questions, and you can see that there are some major emphasis that have been laid, especially when you're doing your homework, and that's running your code through the debugger. It actually helps you understand what is actually going on in the codes that you have written. So it's a good, very, very good practice that after you type in your codes, when you do your assignment, for example, you could start with the ones, the one that's been done if you've not done it before, and do it yourself. But instead of just running the code using F5, is a very good practice for you to use the debugger and go one line to the next so that you can deeply understand what is going on, in the Python script. So what we are doing now is just to wait for you to ask questions, hoping that there are some of you that have attempted this. You've done some of these things before now, and there are some questions you want to ask. So we are just waiting for you to just type it in the chat box. If you want us to unmute you, you can raise your hand, and the admin will ask you to unmute. So for now, I'm not seeing any question. I think what we'll do is that we'll just wait maybe about 10 minutes for some of you that want to do some hands-on practice of what we just did. We just wait for about 10 minutes, wait for your questions, and if we don't have any, then we'll just close. We'll close so that you can have time to work on your homework because it's due tomorrow.
Dr. Adewumi, please, I hope the class knows that everything for the week closes tomorrow. And tomorrow we are going to move beyond, we are going to start from page 43 in the slides.
Okay. So for the so that we can have a bit of organization, I know that we did not post a time for you to submit, but I would advise that you all allow this homework to come in by 6 p.m. tomorrow.
That means that admin will post that date at that time.
Yes.
Today.
Yes.
So the time,
admin, please post the time today. Because we need to work on, we want to ensure that by Monday we have your grades ready. So 6 p.m. tomorrow, everyone, let's have your homework submitted. So I think we'll just 5 more minutes and no questions. It seems like we all understand all we need to do.
Or if there are comments, if there are comments, we welcome comments also. It doesn't have to be a question, or it could be a comment from the parent or from a student or from anybody that is in the course.
Any feedback from from any of us?
Does anybody having difficulty with the homework?
No feedback, no difficulty, no question. Okay.
Okay, we will see. We will see if everybody submits fully done homework tomorrow. Then that means that we are okay. So if people are happy, then we'll just continue. There will be a new set of homework that will be posted on Tuesday. So we'll see. If you are doing your homework regularly, then there will be no problem. But please don't let things pile up. If things don't pile up, you will be okay. But if things pile up, they will then become very difficult looking. Well, I'm about to stop sharing. Can I?
Yes, Prof, you can.
Okay.
We will close in 3 minutes if we don't get any question or comments. Okay, based on one of the comments I can see in the chat room, I just want to let us know that every Every lecture and tutorial is recorded and available on the website. So if you have issues with internet, you are going in and out, don't worry about that. The recording is always available on the course website. So just go there and look for it. Latest, for example, the one for today, latest by Monday morning, you should have it on the course website. So if there are no comments, let me just check one more time. Okay, admin, we don't have any comments or feedback. I think we are good to close the meeting. Yes, you can also ask questions. That's why we have the comment box in the website on the course page. So if you have questions, you can also ask. You can post your questions there also. We'll attend to it. So let's spend the time that we have to work on the homework. Is a good time for us to use. And we'll see you Monday evening. Thank you, everyone. Admin, we can close the meeting.
You know.